I want to tell you how you can take advantage of the 2023 recession. So next year, we're going to see the bottom of the stock market crash and the crypto crash. So the concept, it's very simple. It's called disaster capitalism. When stocks and cryptos crash, that is the perfect time to buy. You buy low and you sell high. So you know how people say that you cannot time the markets. So that's what the rich people tell the poor people to keep them poor. In February of 2021, I publicly predicted that Bitcoin would crash 80 to 85%. It has fallen 75% and we have a little bit more to go. In 2021, I called the top of the stock market and we are now in a bear market. So do you know how I predicted this? It's because in this country, in the United States of America, we have central planning. If you do not understand that, then you need to wake up. So do you know what the definition of central planning is? It is an economic system in which decisions are made by a central authority rather than market participants. So let me ask you a sincere question. Who dictates the direction of the economy, the debt market, the stock market, the housing market? You can throw in the cryptocurrency markets. It's the Federal Reserve with their monetary policy. They decide for us. They run the show. If you know what they're going to do, then how could you not be able to time the markets? Fortunately, the Federal Reserve is very predictable. It's like a cheesy movie where you know how the story unfolds. Now, I want you to take a look at this graph, and this is so important because this is what the Federal Reserve is going to do in 2023, and this is how the stock market reacts. History shows that after stage 3 of the Fed pivots, which is when they start cutting interest rates, the stock market continues to fall. So the crypto market mimics the NASDAQ, so I expect similar ramifications on cryptos. But take a look at this. So if you notice, take a look at what's different this time. This time, the stock market is going down, leading up to stage 3 of the Fed pivot. Therefore, you will have to recalibrate your expectations for this difference, which we're going to get into more. We're going to get deeper into that in another video. So let's talk about this graph, what history teaches us. The Federal Reserve has been raising interest rates by 0.75% at each one of their meetings. So 0.75%, that's a lot. Sooner or later, the Federal Reserve will have to slow down. And that slowdown, it is expected to occur on December 14th. So that would be the start of stage 1 of the Fed pivot, which is smaller interest rate increases. And I want to bring this up so there's no confusion. When I explain the Fed pivot, I break it up into 3 stages. So the first stage is the slowdown, and then the second is the pause, and the third is the interest rate cuts. So I do this to map out the timeline so you know where we are in the sequence of events. So it's just easier to explain it that way. So as you know, the Federal Reserve, they cannot continue raising interest rates forever. The Federal Reserve is expected to stop raising interest rates in early 2023. When they stop raising interest rates and they take a pause, that will be the start of stage 2 of the Fed pivot. So the pause is expected to last for a few months. And then it's just going to be a matter of time until the Federal Reserve starts cutting interest rates again. When they start cutting interest rates, we will be entering the stage 3. So that's stage 3 of the Fed pivot. And that is expected to occur in the second half of 2023. They're going to start cutting interest rates when something breaks or for fiscal reasons. When stage 3 of the Fed pivot occurs, history shows that the stock market will continue to go down. So let me explain this. The Federal Reserve is only going to cut interest rates if the economy is suffering or if capital markets become dysfunctional. Let's just say illiquidity in the debt market, the stock market crashes, etc. So in other words, something is going to break and the Federal Reserve will respond and try to rescue the day by cutting interest rates. However, because of the lag effect, the interest rate cuts will not save the situation immediately. It's going to take some time. Therefore, the economic situation will continue to degrade and the stock market will continue to go down as the Federal Reserve is cutting interest rates. So that's what history shows, and that is what the graph, what I just showed you, that's what that shows too. Therefore, historically, the bottom will be after stage 3 of the Fed pivot. It's not going to be before, not at the start, but after, when they start cutting interest rates. On November 30th, Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve, said they do not intend to crash the capital markets, and he believes that we can still avoid a recession. So it's up to you whether you want to believe that or not. Now, I want you to be aware of this. So you know how inflation started shooting up and it caught the Federal Reserve off guard? So the same thing is expected to happen with unemployment in 2023. In November, the U.S. economy added 263,000 jobs. However, Bank of America is predicting that the U.S. economy will be losing 175,000 jobs a month around March. So you want to know how to make money off this situation.